everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of HealthZone with Gilbert Cheah. My name is Gilbert Cheah. I am the editor of HealthZone Singapore, a Facebook page that we started specifically to cover health and wellness issues for Singaporeans from a Singaporean perspective. The reason we started this was because we felt that there was a lot of misinformation about health, especially nowadays, that was flying through cyberspace. You'll find the misinformation online. You'll find a lot of information being sent through WhatsApp. And we felt that there was a lot of confusion and also a lot of information that was probably not suitable for Singaporeans. So we started HealthZone as a way to provide information for Singaporeans that was clear, that was relevant, and that was interesting and informative. So in the weeks ahead, we'll be covering a lot of different health topics. And for the very first episode, we thought that we would start off with something fairly simple but very important, which is the 5 basic health tips that you need to know about as you're starting this wellness journey. So let's get right down to it. Some of these tips that we're talking about might surprise you. Some of it might seem very basic, but they're also very important. We'll tell you why it's very important. And of course, we'll be covering this all in greater detail in the weeks ahead. So stay tuned. Let's start off with number 1. The first thing that I want to share with you guys that is so important for a health journey and for getting well is, number 1, a health screening. Everybody's body is different from everyone else's. And we all have different health conditions that are a result of our genetics, our lifestyles, our diets, our mindsets, and many other factors. So a health screening is absolutely essential for you to take stock of exactly where your present health condition is so that you know the areas that you need to focus on fixing. And everything starts from having this accurate assessment. Now, please don't say that you don't feel that you need this because you're healthy and you take care of your health, so you don't need a health screening. There are actually many illnesses that do not show any outward signs or symptoms until it's too late. Early detection followed by the right medical treatment and care saves lives. So you need to go first to find out exactly at which level your health is, not judging yourself, but getting an accurate scientific medical assessment. Chronic diseases such as diabetes takes time to develop, and if detected early, it can be controlled and managed before it causes permanent damage. And cancers, likewise, start small, and by the time symptoms such as pain, bloating, or lumps appear, the cancer may already be at an advanced stage. I cannot stress this enough. If you have not had a health screening, you must get one ASAP. This is all the more important the older you get. So how often should you go? If you're under 30 and you have no significant family history of cancer or early heart disease, you should go for health screening every 2 years. If you're over 30, you should have a comprehensive health screening every year. And all women should have a yearly pap smear test and conduct monthly breast self-examinations. Now, there are many places in Singapore that you can go for health screening, and they cover the whole gamut from basic health screening to much more sophisticated ones. Which kind do you need and which are the best places to go to? We'll be covering this in a future episode. And now we come to number 2. Now, this is something that we all love to do, but ironically, most of us do too little of it. And what is this? This is sleep. Yes, sleep is absolutely essential for your health. It is one of the most basic human activities, and it brings so many benefits and functions that scientists are still finding out all about them. At its most basic level, sleep is when the body is resting and recharging itself. But much more than that, sleep is when the body repairs itself and when many vital bodily functions take place. It's like a car being serviced or tuned. Among other things, your muscle fibers are being repaired and grown, protein is manufactured by your cells, and growth hormones are released. One of the most important things the body does during sleep is actually cleaning of the brain. You may not know this, but during sleep, cerebrospinal fluid flushes toxic metabolic waste products from your brain. And in fact, sleep deprivation is associated with a buildup in the brain of clumps of protein known as beta amyloid. That's one kind of protein, which are implicated in Alzheimer's disease. And just one bad night's sleep can lead to more of these beta amyloid buildups in the brain. And also during sleep, brain activity increases in parts of the brain that regulate emotions, personality, and learning. So a lack of sleep will also affect your mood, your memory, and your emotions. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you're actually going to find out your memory is bad. You're going to be in a bad mood. You're going to be feeling emo and not knowing why. And it's really because your body is sleep deprived. Sleep is even more important for infants and children as it plays a crucial role in the development of the brain. This explains why it's necessary that infants and growing children sleep upwards of 14 hours per day. Now, if you have difficulty sleeping, I would recommend you try melatonin. I know many people may have tried this before, but usually the form of melatonin that they take is a pill that they swallow with water. And what I would recommend that you take is actually a sublingual melatonin, which is a lozenge that you dissolve under your tongue. This is called sublingual melatonin. You can buy it. There are a lot of different brands. You can buy it at GNC, at Guardian, at Watson's. A lot of places sell it, and it's really inexpensive, but it's very effective. Now, what is melatonin? Melatonin is a natural sleep hormone that your body produces, and children and babies produce a lot of that, and that's one of the reasons why they sleep so easily. But as we get older, the body produces less melatonin, less of this sleep hormone. And what happens then is that as you get older, you find it that you wake up more easily in the night, you don't sleep as well. It's because your body is deprived of melatonin. And the amazing thing is that melatonin is also inhibited, meaning that the production of melatonin is lessened when people are exposed to bright lights, and especially the blue light that comes from sunlight, the blue light that comes from your computer screen and from your phone. So as a result of us being very much into tech now, staring at screens the whole night, your body is actually producing less melatonin. So a melatonin supplementation might be very important and very good. And the most effective way that I would recommend you take melatonin is the sublingual kind that dissolves under your tongue. Because if you take the kind that you have to swallow with water, it has to go through your digestive system, it has to go through your liver, and it's less effective that way. Many people who have tried melatonin without any success have been taking the kind that you swallow with water, and I recommend you take the one that dissolves under your tongue. And we'll be covering more about sleep and the sleep problems in future episodes. Third, we talk about hydration. This is something that most people overlook because it's such a simple, basic thing that we don't think about. We just have to drink enough water every day. The human body, our cells, muscles, blood, etc. are all mostly water. The brain and the heart are 73% water. The lungs even more so, they're 83% water. The skin contains 64% water. Our muscles and kidneys are almost 80% water. And believe it or not, even our bones are 31% water. Overall, water makes up about 60% of our body weight. And although we can survive without food for weeks, dehydration can kill us within days or even hours, depending on the temperature and the environment. Now, drinking enough water each day is crucial for many reasons. You just cannot be well and healthy if you are dehydrated, and you may not even know you're dehydrated. Because by the time you're thirsty, your body is really dehydrated already. So don't just depend on feeling thirsty before you drink water. Water is necessary to regulate your body temperature. It keeps your joints lubricated. It prevents infections, delivers nutrients to cells, and keeps your organs functioning properly. And it's also very important for your sleep. Your sleep quality, your cognition, and your mood are all affected by your water levels. And this is very important. And if all of these reasons are not enough, here's another one. Drinking water helps your body burn fat and lose weight. Without water, the body cannot properly metabolize stored fat or carbohydrates. Drinking enough water is essential for burning off fat from food and drink, as well as stored fat that you have got on your body. Experiments have found that increased water intake leads to increased fat breakdown in the body and an overall loss of fat. Now, how much water we need really depends on many factors, such as our height and weight and the level of activity that we have. Obviously, a bigger sized man will need more water than a petite woman, but generally, experts recommend that we drink at least 2 liters of water for women, and for men, you need 3 liters a day. And if you do any activity that makes you sweat, you need to drink extra water to cover the fluid loss. It's important to drink water before, during, and after an intense workout. And if your exercise is even more intense and lasts more than an hour, You could perhaps try taking a sports drink that contains electrolytes to replace the minerals in your blood that are lost through sweat. Because if you drink a lot of water and you lose a lot of minerals, you could actually be depleting your body of essential minerals and electrolytes. But when you're drinking sports drinks, watch out for those that contain sugar, because some of them are just packed with sugar and you will be adding back calories that you were exercising to burn off. Now, women who are pregnant or breastfeeding need additional fluids to stay hydrated. Experts recommend that a pregnant woman drink up to 10 cups a day. That's 2.5 liters of fluid daily. And women who are breastfeed need about 13 cups a day, which is about 3.1 liters of fluids a day. And not all of those cups have to come from plain water. Other non-alcoholic fluids such as coffee or tea also do count, but of course not too much, because these are diuretics and will cause you to pee even more and then get dehydrated. Now we come to point number 4. Again, this is a point that we all know about intuitively, but we don't do enough of. And this is very important, and I'll explain why. This point is exercise and movement. And I added the word movement in there for a specific reason, which I'll explain. The evidence is clear. People who exercise live longer on average than those who don't. There's no two ways about that. Human beings were not made to sit on sofas and desks for 16 hours a day and then to lie down for the remaining 8 hours. Our bodies are vertical for a reason. Unlike other mammals, which like cats and dogs, which are on all fours, we're vertical. We need to stand up vertically and to keep moving, basically. Regular physical activity lowers our chances of getting a whole range of illnesses. Heart disease, strokes, diabetes, and even some forms of cancer are all linked to exercise and to movement. Researchers say that physically active people have as much as a 69% less risk of being found to have certain cancers than compared to sedentary people. Exercise seems to be especially potent at lessening the likelihood of developing 7 common types of cancers: colon, breast, endometrial, kidney, bladder, esophageal, and stomach cancers. And exercise is not just good at helping to prevent cancers, it's also important to help those who are undergoing cancer treatment. Exercise boosts the body's immune system and helps us fight all kinds of diseases. And the benefits are not just physical, but mental as well. Exercise releases chemicals in the brain, like endorphins and serotonin, which improve our moods. Regular exercise reduces stress, depression, and anxiety, and helps improve memory, sleep quality, and even your self-esteem. And just as importantly, a regular exercise keeps the brain healthy well into old age. And older people who exercise live longer and are healthier than those who do not. Now, this is interesting because one reason that I added the word movement to exercise is because very often when we think about exercise, we think about having to go to the gym, having to go out for a run, but this is not true. Even any kind of movement throughout the day helps add up to all of the benefits that come. You can do a 10-minute spurt that would be giving you a lot of benefits, as they add up to about 2.5 hours of moderate exercise per week. Now, it's very important to realize that you do not necessarily need to go for a gym or to go out for a run to get the benefits of exercise. While vigorous exercise is important for cardiovascular health and should be the goal, studies show that even just 10 minutes of moderate exercise has benefits, most notably in the brain. Exercise does not need to be prolonged or intense to benefit the brain. They found that even mild exercise, such as a 10-minute walk, can immediately alter how certain parts of the brain communicate and coordinate, and it actually can help improve memory function. Just this year in March, a large new study that was published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that even taking an extra 4,000 steps a day can reduce our risk of dying prematurely, even if those steps are not fast ones. So we often hear about having to take 10,000 steps a day. Great if you can do that. But if you can even do just 4,000 steps a day, they don't even have to be fast ones. You could just be walking around inside your apartment or your home, and cumulatively, that would be helping your health. And at a time, especially when so many of us were confined to the home, now that the circuit breaker is over, we can finally go out and exercise more and meet up with friends. But when we were worried about not being active enough, This study is especially inspiring in that it shows that the added steps and the steps that benefit you do not have to come from running and other vigorous exercise. Even 4,000 additional steps a day, just walking around the block, for example, will lower your chance of dying early from heart disease, cancer, and it drops by 50% or more, which is really startling. So keep moving. When you're seated on the couch, get up once in a while and move. When you're at your desk, get up as often as you can and move. Try standing instead of sitting the whole day. All of these things add up. Just keep moving. Don't let yourself become too sedentary. That's a very key thing. Now we come to the final one for this week, and this might surprise people because it's not something that we usually think about when we're thinking about health and wellness, but the research is very clear, and this is having purpose in life. Having a sense of purpose and usefulness is far more important to our well-being than many of us realize. This is especially important, they find, as people get older and retire, find themselves with little to do and no greater purpose in their life. Specialists in aging and psychologists have found that when someone believes their life has no purpose or meaning, they fall into depression much easier and lose the will to live. We all need to believe and know that our lives have a greater meaning than just waking up, eating, working, and sleeping. Caring for someone else or some cause that's greater than ourselves is one of the key factors that motivates and drives people to live. And studies have shown time and again that people with a life purpose and passion live longer and healthier lives than don't. You see this often with senior citizens, for example, who sit around all day doing very little. Active seniors, by comparison, who are able to do something with their days, whether it's volunteering, looking after their grandchildren, etc., are healthier and live longer than those who feel they have no purpose. So it's very important for those of us who have got seniors in our lives or who are seniors ourselves to actually find a way to have a sense of purpose in life. Even having hobbies and activities that have meaning for you can lengthen your life. Japanese researchers found that men with a strong sense of purpose were less likely to die from stroke, heart disease, or other causes than those who did not have any interests or passions or purpose in their lives. It also lowered their chances of getting Alzheimer's disease. So you see, this mind-body connection is clear. In the weeks ahead, we will have more episodes about this, sharing advice on how you can live a healthier, happier, and longer life. So that's it for this first episode in the 5 important health tips. Next week, we will be bringing you another 5 to round up the top 10. And stay tuned. We want you to join us every week and to live a healthier, happier, and longer life. Thanks very much, and we'll talk to you next week.